Let's continue with naming more alkanes. In this case, what I've done is I put a couple of substituents on there. For part one, I only put one substituent. I'll put a couple in here. So we're going to name them a little bit differently. A couple of things. We want to name these alphabetically. So always kind of keep in mind when I'm naming more than one substituent, the one that's alphabetical comes first, not the one with the number. It's the one that's alphabetically. So in this case right here, so again, this is cyclo. So it's going to be a cyclopentane. Then you got to decide now which one am I going to call carbon number 1 and which one I'm going to call carbon number 2. Few things. This is the chloral group. Got to recognize this. You have to recognize this as an ethyl group. So be able to recognize it. Chloral comes before ethyl, so I'm going to call this carbon number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And again, remember when I'm numbering it, I want the substituents to be as low as the number as possible. So I didn't go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They will put the ethyl group in carbon number 5. No, I don't want that. I want as low a number as possible. So basically, it's going to be 1 chloro, and then 2 ethyl, cyclopentane. So I kind of stuck in that ethyl in there. Again, it's supposed to be all one word with that. Let's take a look at this one right here. Again, you want the substituent to be lowest number possible. So if I go this direction, this is going to be the main chain. I'm going to call this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That would put that fluoro on carbon number 2. If I start on this side, it'd be 1, 2, 3. You put the methyl on carbon number 3. So you want to number it, and we have the substituent, the first substituent, doesn't make a difference where it is, has the lowest number possible. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that's going to be pentane, 2 fluoro, 3 methyl. 2 fluoro, 3 methyl. So 2 fluoro, 3 methyl pentane. Let's look at this one. This right here is actually gasoline. This is actually, when they say octane, it just means it has 8 carbons, but the structure is not going to be actually octane. We're going to name it according to the correct name with this. Kind of adjust this a bit. So I'm going to start on this side right here, because I'm going to call this carbon number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Again, oftentimes the longest chain is the one that's straight across. Not always. We're going to look at this one. The longest chain is not straight across like we're always used to. I'm going to start from this side, because if I go 1, 2, on carbon number 2, I'll have 2 groups on there, 2 methyl groups. On this side, I would only have 1 methyl group. So that second methyl group kind of breaks the tie. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that's going to be pentane. On carbon number 2, I have 1 methyl, I have 2 methyl groups. On carbon number 4, I have a methyl group. So the way I'm going to do this, I'm going to say 2, 2, 4. So again, we have to label which carbon it's at. So 2, and again, I got to say both of these because I got 2 of them on there. 1 here, 1 there. 2, 2, 4, trimethylpentane. So when we pump in gasoline, which says octane, it's actually 2,2,4 trimethylpentane. They call it octane because it has 8 carbons on there. Let's go to the last one. The last one now, we have to pay attention to the longest chain. You always want to find the longest chain of carbons. I mean, for the most part, it's always the one across, but not always. Sometimes they try to trick you when they're doing it. So if I call this the longest chain right here, let me do this for a second. If I did this, I would only have 1, 2, 3, 4. I only have 4 carbons. That's not going to be the longest chain. Let me circle the longest chain for you. The longest chain is actually going to be this right here. Let me put it. That's the longest chain of carbons. So I'm going to call this carbon number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And again, remember now, this stuff can twist and tangle and stuff in solution. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I did a little model for this in class, and you see how you can twist and turn, etc. So pentane is my longest one. And actually, I've actually mislabeled that. I should start on this. I should start like this right here. That's good. Because I want the substitution to be the lowest number possible. That's good. So I'm going to call this number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I have a methyl group on carbon number 2. So 2-methyl. This is a tough one. And then on carbon number 3, I have another methyl. So 2, 3, dimethyl. Carbon number 2, I have a methyl group. Carbon number 3, I have a methyl group. So 2, 3, dimethyl pentane. It won't be any tougher than this one. But again, notice, this is the longest chain right here. And again, notice when I numbered it. I had to go back and change it, which is good. Because I want that substitution to be the lowest number possible. If I started this way, my methyl group would have been on carbon number 3 rather than carbon number 2.